Good morning. Oh, I didn't turn the light on. Hey, there's a little better color. Good morning. Good morning, folks. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Happy soccer weekend because Charlie's got a soccer game in a couple hours. And we're both a little sleepy from a long week in Astro Camp. And maybe we'll spend a little time talking about the mountains of Idlewild. But let's jump into the hello times with these chat friends we got here. We got Legion of Comics Mark first up in the morning saying today's thumbnail made his morning. Well, there you go.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mark. We got Simon R. and he says, "Good morning, Saturday comic book family. Hope all are doing well. We are doing pretty well. A little tired, a little sleepy. Yeah, Beckerman here. Good morning to you. How is your morning going?
Good morning.
Got the Generation X-Men. What are you doing? I read so far just one X book from this last week. But it was pretty good.
Good morning.
I enjoyed it. And we've got the G-Spot Robert Galvin. Good morning to you, Robert. I hope you're having a nice weekend as well. Gore Vidal says he caught some of last night's film chat. And that was over on Comic Chop News, which is Dan's channel. And I was over there talking about Mask of the Phantasm last night and some of these amazing year one, year two storylines.
Good morning.
We finished by sort of counting down some great, maybe underappreciated, underwatched movies. And I threw out The Sweet Hereafter, and it looks like Gore is adding on to that with some other really good movies. Good morning to you, Gore. We got
Morning.
Brandon, Comics Kings. What's going on, Brandon? How are things going for you, sir? The Second Street Marvel is here. Good morning. Bravo is in the chat. Good morning to you and all your fur babies. I hope they're all doing well.
Good morning. Fur babies.
We got JP Budget Collecting. What's going on, JP?
Morning.
I'm going to be on his channel tomorrow night for some Dungeons and Dragons.
What? They have fur babies?
Let's see, X11 Bravo. Yeah, they've got a bunch of little fur babies. They tend to adopt and take in a ton of little ones. So I don't know. Maybe you can let us know where you're at these days, numbers wise. But I know that the Bravo other half is a puppy collector. Tend to have a lot of them. You want to talk X-Men Red? I do have it right here. I ended up going with the Momoko cover. I do feel like the variants for this book were super, super weak. They did not have like a stellar online variant, no Art Germ Storm. I mean, give me an Art Germ Storm cover or something. So I went with this Momoko one, which is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I do like it, but I didn't freak out. I went online and like searched all the online retailers that I knew, and I was like, where are the good Storm Red, X-Men Red covers? They didn't make any. They didn't make any. Ruben Guzman, what is going on? White Tigers in the chat. He just hit, I think it was 200 subscribers, and he's doing a giveaway. I saw that the show was live last night, but I was way too tired to jump in. 3 dogs, a cat, and a bunny. 5 fur babies. You like the all those? Those are all good picks. So I will say this was a solid first issue. The artwork on the inside, and I think Brandon was highlighting some of this on his show with Bryce the other night. The artwork on the inside, really cool. This is the Storm versus Storm sequence right off the bat, very first page. She battled a mutant god, basically, and the god could mimic you. So it was looking like her when she was first joining the X-Men, right? I thought it was a solid issue. I didn't love the fact that the artwork seems to like shift around. Like it's not the same. It's not the same artist all the way through. It looks like there's a promo art. There's a Rocco artist. There's a Destiny of X teaser artist. Those are some of the some of the variant cover artists. But Stefano Caselli is the main artist. And Stefano's stuff I really liked. In general, I think that was the best stuff. I like his Magneto. Looks really cool. I thought they did some cool stuff with Magneto. And yeah, so I mean, it's a solid setup. I don't know quite where they're going to be going with all of this, but I did love Al Ewing's writing on Sword, which was sort of the precursor to this. So I like that a bunch. That I'm very excited about. Vulcan is back, giving the Shi'ar a hard time. I mean, yes, that has to happen. My dad is in the chat. Good morning, Pop Pop. Morning. That was
Good morning.
Morning. And Pop Pop, we have a soccer game this morning that we just learned about, 10:30 this morning. And if you need directions, if you're free, it's right near our house. So it's like right around the corner from us. But I know you've got a ton of grandkids and a ton of sporting events on the weekend. So I know we're like just throwing one at you at the last second here. Paul is saying, checking in before some tennis and baseball this morning. Yep. There you go. Have a good weekend, Paul. I hope the knee, I've seen some updates on the knee. I think it looks like it's getting better. I hope you're I know you said that the PT's been happening a lot lately. Hope you're doing well, man. Pretty cool though, right? Storm versus Storm.
What's Araco?
So Araco is basically what they're calling Mars now. It's a mutant planet, right? They put oceans and they've put buildings and they've terraformed and created Mars. Ooh, it's the last day of doggy school this morning. So Papa was taking Riley to not Riley, Bailey to Bailey to doggy school this morning. Very exciting.
Last day.
Miss So is in the chat. Good morning to you, Miss So. I hope you're having a nice start to your weekend. Charlie and I were rewatching Mask of the Phantasm this morning. After I was talking about it so much last night, she said, I can't quite remember that one. So we started watching it this morning. And I was pointing out, there's so many little great year one and year two stories in that movie. I love that movie. Sadly, not everybody on the show last night loved it as much as I do, but it seemed overall there was a lot of love for it. Nobody gave it like less than an 8 out of 10. So the grades were pretty good overall. But I know some of us might have bigger nostalgia goggles for that sort of Paul Dini era of Batman and the artwork and all that stuff. I'm with you, Brandon, completely. In fact, if I were to rank them, I think this one would just eke out a victory over my favorite live action ones for so many little reasons we went into last night. But for me, I just love this movie. And I remember seeing it in the theater. It wasn't in the theater that long around Christmas of 93. And I remember seeing it in the theater and just loving it. So that was me. Love this movie. Going on Unruly Simeon's recommendation, I've been enjoying Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men, especially Kitty and Peter's relationship. That is a really good run. It's not a terribly long run, so it's an easy one to kind of get caught up on. Did I miss Unruly Simeon making a recommendation? I scroll up and I did not see Unruly Simeon. Did I miss him? I might have missed him in the chat. Yeah, Charlie's reading some X-Men Red. I told her what was in it, and she went and checked it out. Now she's scrolling through it. JP says, anyone that dislikes Mask of Phantasm has no valid opinions on Batman-related things. I will say nobody disliked it, but there were definitely people feeling like it was good, not great. There were some people in that boat, and that's where it's at. He's always pushing some Grant Morrison. Always pushing some Grant Morrison. Oh, okay, good, Gore. I was worried I missed Unruly. I don't want to miss Lane if he jumps in here. Excuse me. Good morning. Yikes. Wake up myself there a little bit. Whew. I'm going to have some more coffee. Yikes. So yeah, a solid-ish first issue of X-Men Red. I'm going to go to reading it all digitally, and that's where I'll be at with the series going forward. But I wanted to get issue number 1 and just kind of give it a shot, especially how much I loved Sword, which went right before it. Thank you, Pedro. Pew pew. Good morning to you. Did you want to say anything about Mask of the Phantasm, Charlie? You're about halfway through it. The Joker just showed up. Love Mark Hamill's Joker. So phenomenal. Whedon takes off after Morrison. Gotcha. I saw that you were reading Deadly Class this morning, Justin. Just posted it on his Instagram not too long ago. Charlie's into it right now. She's focusing in. What do you think? She's just like, she's lost. She's lost to the world. I will say another book, the only other book I had a chance to read so far this week was Devil's Reign 6 of 6, which if you missed it last night, I think it was last night, Brandon and Bryce were talking about this finale to Devil's Reign and a bunch of other things as well. But they spent a lot of time talking about what does this mean for Zdarsky's run going forward? You know, how did this event stack up? There was a lot of good discussions going on. I will say it's been so long since I read an event comic book where the ending was as good as the rest of it. And this is it's just another example of like, no, we've got to use the ending issue to set up the next story arc. And it's like, just end the story, like just finish that story. So it was a letdown in that regard, but I guess I shouldn't hold it to a higher standard because nobody does it. But I was really hoping Zdarsky would use Devil's Reign for this like huge ending and then launch something new out of it later on. I just felt like it was a very soft landing. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of intensity out of that final issue, which is I just was kind of bummed about that. John, did you buy the Magneto Christian Ward? No, I wanted a Storm cover. This is a Storm issue. I wanted a Storm cover. And all the variants I saw were so poor. I was like, this was my favorite one. I was just disappointed in general that they didn't have a stellar Storm variant for this issue. But a lot of the variants I saw for Storm were like, wah, wah. Like I really wish they could have put some money out there to really have some stellar artists do an amazing variant. Brandon says, I agree. It solved a lot of character runs, but it really involves the next part. Yeah, it just felt like a setup to something else instead of an ending to this huge chapter of Daredevil that I hoped it would be. So in that way, I was just kind of let down by it a little bit. What's up, dude? So do you want to talk about Mask of the Phantasm? What do you think of the Batman now that you're rewatching it?
I mean, I kind of liked him more when he was younger.
You like young Bruce Wayne learning to be Batman? Yeah.
Because he looks a lot like Dick Grayson.
He does look a little like the drawings of Dick Grayson when he's like at the end of this series,
he has
right?
like more of a wider head or more of a box, more of a rectangle shape, whereas Dick Grayson is more of a square shape.
That's interesting.
But it's kind of cool. I like. Wait, can I say about the twist? Am I allowed to talk about the twist?
I mean, it's not really anything you need to worry about spoiling because the movie is like 30 years old.
Okay. Well, I like that the girl in the end ends up being like the bad guy.
Yeah, the twist because in the comic books it's her dad. He is the Phantasm, or he is the Reaper.
Because like of his business partners.
It
was because of his business partners, but like it's kind of cool she does it because it's like she's carrying on her dad's legacy. I don't remember what happened to her dad.
In this movie, they reveal it, but it's kind of like they don't quite show it.
Like what happened? Wasn't it like a fire?
You'll see. What's up, Jay? And G-Spot is asking, hey, are you liking Moon Knight? Mm-hmm. We watched, so I've seen episode 1 twice. I've not watched episode 2 yet because I felt like I wanted to see the tone, if it was going to be appropriate for the kiddos. Last night they watched episode 1. What did you think of the first episode of Moon Knight?
I loved it.
You loved it?
I feel like it ruins his life.
What is it?
His like other half, Mark.
Mark Spector is the other half.
Which, luckily for me, I've read comic books about Moon Knight, so I know,
I love that sentence. Can you say that sentence again?
luckily for me, I've read comic books with Moon Knight.
So you kind of know a little bit about him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you know about him?
So I'm pretty sure, like I said, he has two halves. And
I wouldn't even go further. I think he's got many, many parts.
Yes.
Not just a half and a half, but many parts.
Yeah. And he's sort of like, one is like more neat and organized, whereas the other is mostly just like, I'm a trained killer. And like, it seems like he could be a bad guy or a good guy. He's kind of like a Catwoman.
Yeah.
But I know sometimes he does team up. Sometimes he's in Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's a character who's often teaming up with others. So he'll be with people like Spider-Man or Daredevil or Blade, the vampire hunter. Because in the comics, he got his start. He was known as like the werewolf hunter. His first appearance is in a book called Werewolf by Night, and he is showing up to hunt down the werewolf by night.
And then Blade is the vampire.
And then Blade was the vampire hunter, right? So they had like similar, we stop the monsters kind of vibes going.
So they obviously probably would be friends.
And hence all the moon references with the full moon for the werewolf, right? Besides all the Egyptian connections that we got, right?
Yeah, which was really cool, which I think maybe he has like a connection with the gods. Which I also learned about Horus.
Right.
And even with Iris.
The big one in his universe is called Khonshu.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was in a book for a long time called Knights of Khonshu, starring Moon Knight, and the idea that Khonshu was that god with the like bone face and the big
dog face.
Is that it? Like it had like a beak that was like floating around behind him, like always like creepily following him around.
Yeah,
Khonshu. What's up, Super Russ? Miss So says she hasn't seen episode 2 yet either. Okay. But heard it was better than 1. I really liked episode 1. I didn't have anything against it. I liked that it was a slow setup, but Marvel is kind of known for that. They'll take 6 episode show and give you a ton of slow setup, which I know is frustrating for some, but it's basically like a 6-hour movie instead of a 6-episode TV series. And if you can get used to that format, I think there's something to it. But I do like the slow setup. I do like the idea of making us feel whatever it is that Steven is experiencing, putting us in his shoes. This idea that he would be constantly disjointed in his own life and not know what day it is and not know where he was and not know what's going on. He's a vegan, and Mark Spector is clearly a hardcore carnivore, and he's eating steak and asking girls out for steak dinners. So I like some of that, like lost in his own life kind of thing going on there.
And then when he thought it was Friday, but it was actually Sunday.
Right, because he missed a few days, and apparently his goldfish died, and he got a new goldfish and didn't even know it. Right? Wild. So yeah, much like JP, I'm hoping to watch episode 2 some point today. We'll see.
Maybe after we finish Mask of the Phantasm.
Maybe. We got a lot to do this weekend, but next week you're on spring break. So, whoop, whoop. Officially unofficial geek, good morning to you. Hope you're having a nice morning so far. We're just chatting a little bit about Moon Knight episode 1 because we haven't watched episode 2 yet, but that is on the docket for this weekend. I'm going to put my Peach Momoko cover back in here. And put that away. Okay, good. So Charlie and I, we were at Astro Camp the last few days. It is a sleepaway science camp in the mountains of Idlewild, which is a few hours from where we live in California. They do all kinds of science experiments. They do all kinds of like team building kind of activities. They do a ton of rope courses and zip lining and all these kinds of activities with kids. And then the kids sleep over, and they have a big old dining hall, and it's very much like dorm mountain living. And then all activities basically from 8 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. They've got activities built into the week. We were there for 2 nights, basically 3 days. All kinds of fun science experiments. Her entire 5th grade class, one of the moms from the class, the teacher, and I was a bonus chaperone.
One kid couldn't go though, which was a little sad. But
so I want to know some of your favorite things. I want to hear a little bit about it from you. Some of the best parts of Astro Camp. In fact, where's the little doggy? I thought the doggy would be here this morning. You want to go get it later?
You talk about your part, your favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, then you bring your buddy back with you. So it's a very popular camp. They had buses coming in from Arizona to do Astro Camp. Buses driving hours and hours with kids from schools all around this portion of the U.S. to go do this. They have a ton of labs like set up for classroom spaces, but then out they've got, of course, a ton of different telescopes outside for activities. They have a gymnasium where they've built a rock wall to simulate like climbing in Mars, on a canyon in Mars. They've even got a giant Olympic-sized swimming pool for like the summer camps they do where they're underwater and they're testing like how to move like you're in less gravity. So really, really cool. And then, of course, you're just in beautiful nature, and there's just a ton to enjoy for kids of all ages. They were high schoolers all the way down to kids a little younger than Char. So a lot of fun stuff to enjoy, and great staff who are really interested in science. They're usually college educated, like physicists and people who've studied different areas of science, and then are bringing that stuff to kids in the classroom. So you got a hoodie. Let's see the hoodie. Astro Camp.
It says Astro Camp, but the O every year it's something different, and it looks like a beehive, but it's for the James Webb Telescope.
Yeah, the Hubble Space Telescope is being phased out, and the new telescope that they will be using, the newer, higher tech one, is called the James Webb Space Telescope.
Yeah.
So there it is.
And it's really cool because it has like it has this like I believe a sun shield to keep it from getting heated up from Earth and the sun.
Right.
And then we got
what else we have?
Mrs. Kate's bear stuff. We got her.
There's the bear, the Astro Camp teddy bear. Had to get some swag from the gift shop.
And the Astro Camp wolf.
And Charlie's little wolf.
And I switched their shirts around because
the shirts come off. You can put them on other stuffies and move it all around if you want. Jay, I mean, there's a ton of public schools in our area that go, but I understand like district monies for those kind of things are complicated everywhere. Thankfully, we're pretty darn close. A 2-hour bus ride isn't so bad. So that's the biggest challenge, and getting all the way up the mountain. It's not easy for most buses too. That we had a girl get pretty sick on the way back down from the swervy bus ride. It's pretty challenging. Good morning, Mark. We said hello to you earlier, but you were tailgating. I don't think you caught us saying it. So happy weekend to you, sir. The telescopes. So you want to talk a little bit about some of the telescopes you looked through and what you saw?
So they had binoculars that could see really far.
Yeah, high-end binoculars. But what were those looking at?
Those we mostly looked at the stars and the moon.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the moon is so bright, and on binoculars you can't put on a lunar
surface.
Yeah. So it's like super bright.
What would happen?
You could get blinded.
You can hurt your eyes. Looking with really nice binoculars or a telescope straight at the moon can be hard on your eyes, right?
And if you put your hand under like where your eyes would go, you could see the moon. The
moonlight would shine through the binoculars super clearly. I mean, you're up that high, that elevation. There's less, smog and light pollution, and so yeah. But what else were we looking at?
We also looked at the stars for Sirius A that we looked at, which was very beautiful. It's one of our brightest stars. If not, I believe it was the brightest star.
It's part of what constellation?
I believe it was Canis Major.
Yeah, Canis Major, the great dog, which is why Sirius Black in Harry Potter is a dog, right? Because it's the same concept, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We were looking at some nebulas.
Yes, we looked at the Orion Nebula, which
Uh-huh.
is very pretty. It looked sort of dark blue.
You could see some of the clouds of gases like surrounding the nebulas.
It looked dark blue, but then when you look at a close-up picture with their fanciest telescope,
Right.
you could see that it was not dark blue. Because the telescope they had, what you could do, it was the fancy telescope, is you can't look through it.
No, there's like a
It
screen.
takes pictures.
Yeah.
And then you have it look at a screen. And their less fancy telescope was one where you have a little remote and you type in the galaxy.
It's still a pretty fancy one, but yeah you could type it in and it would know with the internet, right? Because it connected to the internet.
Exactly where the constellation would be.
And then it automatically just turns and faces.
Yeah, like when we did it in the daytime and we wanted to look at the sun for sunspots.
Oh yeah, so another day in the daytime we were looking at the sun. Yeah. What did you notice?
Well, first of all, the sunspots were really cool. But when she typed in sun, she wrote solar system, sun.
She had to type in a ton for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you? Really cool. I looked at the telescope for that showed the prominences, the little like flame spurts on the edge of the sun that blasted. Those were really cool. There were a couple of really big ones you could see.
It's amazing how that happens. And the sunspots look like freckles.
The sunspots do look like freckles.
Which was really cool.
The sun has freckles.
It's just like us.
Miss So, we have a basic celestron telescope at our house here. And it's good enough that I can see the rings of Saturn and that I could see the moons of Jupiter and the red spot on Jupiter. So it's a pretty solid telescope overall. And I bought some filters for it so we could look at the moon and the sun when they were, out. So it's a pretty awesome setup. And we've taken it on it's big. That's the only drawback is it's so big that to take it somewhere like the mountains when you go camping just means you got to figure out where you're going to fit it, right? But in our backyard, we've used it a bunch, right? You've seen the rings of Saturn and some of the...
I don't think I've seen the rings.
Oh, well, then we got to do that again soon.
Once we can see Saturn, because it has to be like at a certain...
Saturn has to be up and it can't be behind the hills and stuff, right? Old Wolf's here. Good morning, Tony.
Look, this is Young Wolf.
This is Astro Wolf.
Baby Wolf.
Roo!
No, he goes...
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got his voice wrong.
He's tiny still.
But yeah, we've always been like interested in those things. I even have a Lego set for the Saturn V rocket that went to take astronauts to the moon, and it comes with like a lunar lander. So definitely, space science I've always found very fascinating. And I took my 5th grade students to Astro Camp 11 years ago. The year I taught 5th grade was the year Charlie was born. It was the only year I taught that particular grade level. And I took my students to Astro Camp and it was amazing. And it was kind of fun that the second time I went to Astro Camp was when she was in 5th grade and she got to go. So it was coming full circle for me to go as a parent after having gone as a teacher. Kate went when she was little. Sometimes you'll see her wearing her gray Astro Camp hoodie. But now we've got a blue one for her as well. So now everybody's got hooded Astro Camp gear.
And they don't tell you what the Astro Camp hoodie is color it's going to be on the website. Yep.
It's always changing.
Always a surprise.
Yeah. Each year they get, or every 6 months or so, they change the color. So that everybody's always excited. Like, what color is it going to be this year? Because tons of kids go back again and again.
Yeah, it's cool.
Indeed it is.
The only thing is, if you wanted to go like if you wanted to go during like spring, like this season,
right?
Like, and you just wanted to go yourself, like what would happen?
You can't go by yourself. You need to go with a group. In the summer, you can sign up for individual weeks and go for a week. Sorry.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
we meet.
So in the summer, if you signed up for a certain week, you could be there and then do all kinds of different activities. It's not just what we saw. They said they have like D&D tournaments, and they teach kids how to be a blacksmith and how to make things out of metal, and they do all kinds of activities beyond just what we were doing, because they have kids for that full week. And older kids who are 12 and up can sign up for 2 weeks and go for 2 full weeks and get a ton of different things in.
I want to do the D&D tournament.
The D&D tournament.
That looks fun, but I want to see our instructor.
You want to see Mara and Matt, and did you get to know anybody else? Chris was the guy making. Chris made you the cookies.
Yeah, and then Logan.
Logan did the zip line and
the sky coaster.
The sky coaster.
And Lily.
And Lily, yeah, did the zip line for you. So that they have a bunch of like rope courses and stuff. Do you want to describe any of the, like, what is the sky coaster?
The sky coaster is like a pulley system.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of pulling like this, you pull it sideways like that.
Yeah, because it goes through a pulley, which is like the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And somebody gets hooked up on a little ladder. They hook you up, and then they ask you to step down so you're like basically floating. And then Mara was like, random color. We said yellow. Random food. We said sushi. So she was like, yellow sushi. And then everybody pulled. I was the first one to
You pull the rope.
And you go.
And the person goes
higher and higher and higher until they reach like to the maximum. Or you don't have to go to the maximum. But I went all the way to the top. And then you have a little like basically little rope and have a little ball on it. And you keep it on your helmet. And then when they say 3, 2, 1, you pull it down, and then you go swinging into the air.
It disconnects you from the pulley system, and you're now just swinging like a pendulum way out among the trees.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was it.
So they call it the sky coaster. But they have a lot of those kind of like rope courses, pulley system climbing activities that are really amazing. You can tell a lot of the staff are interested in rock climbing and all these, zip lining stuff, because their experience in belaying and in using harnesses and carabiners and all that kind of stuff, they know their gear. It's really cool. Everything's super safe and yet also a ton of fun.
That's cool.
Did you prefer the zip line, which is pretty cool, or the sky coaster? Because those are the two main activities.
I like the sky coaster, even if it did beat me up a little bit.
The sky coaster, yeah, that's right. Charlie's got she got the rope, I think, like bonked her when she went down. She got a little scratchy right there.
Right here, and then right here.
And then right there. But you didn't even notice it at the time. You were like, it was like later on, it just appeared, and you're like, I don't know. I think that's how I got it. The star vomiting coaster. I mean, that's more like me on Star Tours. I get nauseous on that ride. But I did the sky coaster. It was kind of fun. I had done the zip line previously, so I did not do the zip line again. I wanted the kids to get their turn.
No.
What was your favorite science activity? I mean, obviously, it's all technically science, engineering and stuff. But what was your favorite activity?
I really like the cosmic landing.
The cosmic lander we did yesterday.
And Messier Madness, that one was my favorite.
Good morning to Kirk. Soul, brother. We were talking about Astro Camp and some of the science activities that Charlie did. So you said Messier Madness, which was a nighttime scavenger hunt through the camp with a flashlight and a checklist.
And a partner.
And I
won.
And it was all about the scientist Messier and some of his discoveries.
Messier.
And then the other one you mentioned was it Cosmic Lander?
Cosmic Landing.
And they have like you have to it's basically like the egg drop, but they do it with a water balloon instead. You've got to create something to protect the water balloon.
It's your astronaut, and you have to successfully land him onto the top of Mars.
Yeah, they've created a little like platform on the first floor, and you can drop from the second floor down to it. And the platform has like rocks and sand, and it's in like a little like sandbox basically. and that's supposed to be the surface of Mars, and you've got to create something that will protect your water balloon astronaut.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
It was awesome, and I also successfully did that with my 2 other friends. That was a weird fist bump.
So that was a good one. I thought you would love the all the lights and lasers thing that we did.
That was fun.
Or the climbing the rock wall that's Mars.
I thought that was considered a rope course.
I mean, technically it is, but the idea was, and I think they had the computer screens were down. The idea was you should have been able to go and punch and learn information about Mars, and it would tell you cool things, and then you could go climb the rock wall as you learned something new. But I think the computers were down on that one. So they did it with the big map of Mars, and you learned some things there, right?
Yeah, which was really fun. I enjoyed it.
You have a good day too. Bye, geek. We'll catch you later. And Bearded Comic Bro is here. What is going on, Greg?
He knows I was going to talk about it because I wrote about it on my comment.
Ah, okay.
Because I said I would talk about it tomorrow.
So they have a really big rock wall painted red to look like Mars with fun red lighting and a ton of ropes that you can use to go up. And so the kids got to climb rock walls. And you made it to the top of a few of them, right?
Oh.
All of them? Humble brag. I'm the best, yo.
I didn't get to do all of them, but all the ones that I did, I made it. I got through like 4 or 5.
Thank you, Carlito. I hope nobody's nursing a hangover like Dan is. Just talking a little bit about the movie earlier and some of these comics that connect to it. But now we're on to Astro Camp. So you liked the rock wall. That was fun. I know that the atmosphere and gases thing, the ending kind of upset you, but that was pretty fun too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they got to eat potato chips that had been
liquid nitrogen.
They had liquid nitrogen poured on potato chips, and then so they had like frozen, and you could eat them, and then like the steam would come out when you eat them. Pretty awesome.
It was good.
Just a Rican, what's up, Rod?
They just tasted like cold chips.
They are just cold chips, but like it was kind of cool to eat a frozen chip, basically.
And then breathe it out.
That was cool. And then at the end, you got to have hydrogen balloons, and you were allowed to explode them. And you got to hold 2 of them on the end of a pole when your partner had the flame, and they exploded 2 hydrogen balloons. Basically a subtle reenactment of the Hindenburg, the blimp that had they decided to fill it with hydrogen
instead of helium.
And they tested helium and they tested hydrogen in their lab.
And was it carbon dioxide too?
I think so.
And helium and carbon dioxide just popped, but hydrogen made a fire explosion.
That one made an explosion.
And Dad caught it in slow-mo.
I did, and some of you saw it. Like I know it looks like Old Wolf saw it on my Instagram. Yeah, so the chips, Greg, were like just normal potato chips, and then they sprinkle a little liquid nitrogen on it, and then while she's asking and talking, it basically the liquid part evaporates, but the chips are now like frozen. The potato chips are all frozen. Well, good morning to you, Simon. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see what we got over here, Charlie. What do you want to see?
Let it go.
You want to see let it go? Okay, let's go up. Let's go up.
It's the other way.
It's the other way? Ah, there it is.
No, well, now they know. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold back anymore. The cold never bothered me anyway.
And some robots, you said?
We have to make friends, and do you still know how to make friends?
I've never had any friends.
Well, you have robots.
You have robots? Robots can be friends.
I found another one of me which we could add, but if anyone's ever seen the movie How to Train Your Dragon,
Yeah.
at one point they say like, "Hey Kava, look here, it's a talking fish bone," and I love that line.
Yeah, you were trying to do your best Scottish accent at the age of like 2.
And mom recorded me saying it. She's like, "Okay, Charlie, what's your favorite line from How to Train Your Dragon?" It's like, "Hey Kava, Yeah, he's talking to Fishbone.
Yeah. Nothing like a little kid doing a Scottish accent. It's pretty entertaining. I'm trying to think, was there anything else we wanted to mention about Astro Camp?
Messy and Madness.
The Messier Madness, we did talk about the scavenger
It
hunt.
was so fun.
Are you just happy that you won?
But yes, but also
You're like, I won the scavenger
no,
hunt.
because the riddles were so fun.
I have a very competitive child. Massively competitive,
Yes, very competitive
child.
I can't really play like a video game, and I can.
She
play
needs to
them, but
win everything. It's just the truth.
It is, but I at least I can come to terms with it.
Yeah. Your
But
bagel's
it
right
was
in
fun.
there, my love.
It was awesome because I did it, and it was like with my friend.
Look, another Astro Camper.
But it was awesome because the riddles were so fun. It was like this dorm is right near the pool. Don't get too warm. Keep your cool. And it was really fun because we had to like look and see like where's the pool because there was a map on the back of the checklist. And you're like, oh, it has to be Pine. So we had to run over right across the street. And it was awesome.
Good morning to Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
But they
And
messed
good
up.
morning to Flash by Night. Good morning to you.
They messed up on ours because we had the basically after every riddle you get some letters.
Yeah.
And then when you get all of them, you come back and you write and you have to like solve them, unscramble them,
Okay.
and you get a nebula or a galaxy.
Right.
And ours was the Dumbbell Nebula, which is spelled D-U-M-B, B-E-L-L, and then
There's double B?
nebula. Yeah, there's two B's. But the letters they gave us were D, U, M, B, and then instead of B-E, they gave us B-U.
Oh, Dumble.
So we were like, we can't solve this because it's not right. So we had to go back out to find them, Miss Mara, and then she had to tell us that we solved it.
Okay.
And it was so fun, and we did fun puzzles.
Awesome.
So it was so fun.
How you doing, Kate? How was spring break this week? Spring break 2022. Woo-woo!
Yeah. I'm on spring break.
You are on
First
spring break.
started, you're lucky.
You guys are crossing over right here. But you get an extra day off next week. Don't worry about it. Disneyland on Wednesday. We're going to our last day on Disneyland on Wednesday.
Can we do that on Friday?
Nope.
What's on Friday?
We can't move it now because every day of one of those days is like sold out now. People love their Disneyland.
Love the Disneyland.
Do you have a max amount of people going?
Yes, you have to make a reservation with your ticket. And I
What's
did
their
mine
max?
far enough advance. I don't know what their maximum capacity is, but they know.
Is it California Adventure or is it just Disneyland?
We can go over to California Adventure in the afternoon.
Okay.
So we will go do the Incredicoaster at least one more time.
And the Guardians one. Actually, I don't want to do that one. That was really.
No Guardians?
I want to do Guardians.
I know. I'm so shaky after that.
We'll see how you feel when we get there. But we're going to head out because Charlie's got a soccer game here in about an hour. We're going to have to get down there. But it's close enough to walk to, which is awesome. So we can walk to the soccer game where Kate can
Is it
ride
a
her bike.
YMCA one?
It's
I
near
don't
the
have my
Y.
bike.
Oh, yeah, your bike's not here. You got to go get it. Wah, wah.
Get roast.
We will watch Moon Knight episode 2 later today. Flash.
finish
We
Mass
watched
Effect.
episode 1, and I know that Charlie really liked it. Kate, did you like Moon Knight episode 1? Learn about Steven and Mark.
I'm tired. Sorry.
I
That's
also
all right.
got beat up playing Gaga Ball.
Oh yeah, Gaga Ball's a lot of
My
fun.
fingers
That's
are
a great,
scratched.
great kid game. If you haven't heard of it,
It's so fun.
pretty basic. You just need like a little
Arena.
yeah, it's like
Corral.
you usually use like sand or solid ground, and then around the outside is just a little fence so that they can be inside.
Planks high.
And then and then you're hitting the ball back and forth. It's very fun. Very simple setup, but a lot of fun.
And we played a ton of it. It's like the only thing we really did in our free time. Which I realized we probably should have done something more. Because we had human foosball, which again, having to win can affect it. But we also
At least you know yourself.
we should have gone to like the gymnasium or something. That would have been fun. We just spent the entire time.
You were
playing
happier
Gaga Ball.
playing Gaga Ball. Just
Yeah,
let's be
every
honest.
time we'd have to come after breakfast, like I would be like, "Can we go back to playing Gaga Ball?"
Right.
And you played, and you never won.
Ouch.
Well, that was because people would try to get you out because every time the teacher plays,
I did
everyone's
win
like,
at least once, but
yes,
yes.
you did. But everyone's always like, get the teacher, get the teacher.
That's part of the fun, you know? It's part of the fun of it.
You just gotta be ready for it. Mr. Josh was good.
Yep, your teacher, Mr. Josh, played a bunch.
He goes like, oh, every time he like gets hit or
Yeah.
doesn't get hit or
Yeah.
gets somebody else. It's funny.
It is very funny. Yeah, so everyone have a great weekend, as Bravo is saying. I hope everyone can spend a little time, enjoy a good book. I know I'm going to try to read something a little bit later because I've been. I thought I brought all these books to Astro Camp. I thought I was going to read, and I only read 2 comics, so I did not actually get very many books read.
Did you have your own room, or were you with someone?
He was in the girls' dorm room.
I was down on the end, but I had my own room
What
next
room were you
to.
in?
I had my own room, but I was on the girls' side because Charlie's class only has 3 boys, and the rest are all girls.
And you don't need 2 grown male teachers.
So
have to
we
watch
tried to
3
make
boys.
sure that the female chaperone had support. So I was sleeping in that end of the dormitory, just to keep
Which
these
was
darn
good.
girls from
No,
running
but-
around all night.
But it was good because it meant like I didn't have to like yell at you from across the doorway. Like,
Oh, you
"Dad,
still
come
yelled
out
at
to the
me.
hallway so I can give you a hug."
Did that ever happen?
No, but I came into your room and gave you a hug.
Oh,
nice.
Charlie, it's
I did.
Kate has been to Astro Camp as well, as you can tell, and was very jealous and asking for me to send lots of pictures.
Only on the start with you.
I sent a fair amount.
Did you see the video of me on Sky Coaster?
Yes. At the end where you're like,
Yeah.
was fun.
Oh yeah, I went first and everyone was like, "Charlie, was it fun?" And I was like, "Yeah."
So there you go. I hope everyone has a great weekend. We're gonna get out of here, and I thank you all. I thank you, Simon, for the super chat. I hope you and Ariel have a great weekend. Bye, everybody, and we'll see you back here. See you the next thing on my channel. I don't think I have anything coming up. That's not on my channel. That's on JP's. I don't think I'm hosting anything the next week, so I think I got a pretty light week coming up here. But we shall see. We'll see what happens. Bye, everybody.